Hello, Assemblyman Nader Sayage. Even though I represent the city of Yonkers, New York, in the New York State Assembly, I'm here really as a representative of not only my city, but the state of New York, the United States, and really the global community. We're blessed to be in a city, in a community that is extremely diversified, religiously, diversified ethnically, racially, and in many, many other different ways. And I, as an assemblyman, really, I'm very proud of my background in education for many years. And as an educator, our main goal for many, many years was to really encourage collaboration, encourage dialogue among our children and our families, and encourage a sense of awareness. We knew that as educators, the more our children and our families were made aware of the importance of coexistence, the importance of peace and harmony and global awareness, that it's a win-win. And as time went on, we did it through many different ways. We promoted essays that encouraged children to write about commonality and goodness and humanitarianism. We did it through cultural events and activities to celebrate the different holidays, whether religious or cultural or ethnic. And we did it in many ways. And in today's times, with the global issues that confront us, the many conflicts across the world, that either discriminate or promote hatred or division or polarization, they do so for many reasons. And unfortunately, one of the reasons, or one of the many reasons, is religious concerns. People that may fight each other or hurt each other or harm or degrade each other because of their religious background. We heard of ethnic cleansing, we heard of trauma, and really bad deeds that take place all across the world. And as many people sit back, many of us have taken a more proactive role by really encouraging, a fight against the negative. It's a positive against the darkness, or light against darkness. And it's really that effort that many of us in this room that represent a cross-section of religious and ethnic and cultural backgrounds sit around here at the Assembly office in Yonkers, really not only to promote dialogue, but to expand the message of how it's crucial now more than ever, even today as we face military confrontations around the world, especially in the Eastern Europe arena, in the Ukraine and elsewhere, and the trauma that takes place in the Middle East, in Africa, in Latin America. Trauma for many reasons, whether it's for illness, whether it's for military, whether it's earthquakes and other forms of suffering. It is really our responsibility as members of the human family to recognize, as we always say, that commonality is greater than division. And what should really unite us is the ability to look at each and every one of us and recognize, no matter what religion, what culture, tradition, we are 90% common. So if there is any differences, in my opinion, it's that 10% that should never overpower the 90%. So today, it's my honor as someone that I've had the pleasure of initiating the inauguration of World Interfaith Harmony Festival. This is a month-long celebration, and the person really behind all this, that really initiated this and has worked for many, many years with collaborating with United Nations agencies and civic organizations and governmental organizations, not only here in our metro area, but throughout the country and throughout the world. And he's with us here, and I call it, they refer in his literature as HH, but it's His Holiness Guraji Dilip Kumar Thankapan. He's here, and he's here in person, and believe it or not, an international figure, that is not only head of the World Yoga Association, but many, many initiatives, working with many of us for many years. So I'm blessed to have him with us, and the many members that are here. And I wanted very quickly just to go around the room and have everyone introduce themselves and who they represent, and whether it's an organization or themselves, before we begin our formal program, beginning with my right.
Hello, I'm Reverend Susanna Maycomb. I sit on the advisory board of the World Yoga Community, and Guraji and I have worked on many initiatives and events at the United Nations and other interfaith festivals and prayer services. And honored to be here.
My pleasure.
Muhammad Chaplain Muhammad Jan. I'm president of Madni Masjid, and also I'm representing New York State Chaplain Task Force, and I'm from Yonkers.
My name is Hussein Rawab. I'm also as a new chaplain with Brother Muhammad. I'm the Outreach and Public Affairs Civic Engagement Director for Muslim American Society. I'm also the president of Yonkers Democratic Muslim Caucus. I'm here to represent both organizations or both groups, and I've been part of interfaith community for a long time, and working with Dr. Nader Saij and others. I'm honored to be with you, and welcome to all.
My name is Meli Gutierrez, and I'm here on behalf of Legislator Jose Alvarado.
My name is Diane Pratt, and I'm a Yonkers resident, but I'm here also on behalf of the Westchester Baha'i Faith Community. And we do not have clergy, but we do have what's called an assembly, and I'm representing that as the secretary of the assembly.
I am David Alpert. I'm a member of the board of the Westchester Jewish Council and the past chairman of the Westchester Holocaust and Human Rights Center.
And former chairman of the Westchester Democratic Party.
Bradley Hurwitz with the Chabad of Yonkers organization. We have a Jewish community outreach here in Yonkers.
I'm John Thompson. I serve as the chaplain for the YMCA of Yonkers, but I also happen to be a member and the Sergeant Major of the Salvation Army of Yonkers.
I'm Frank Kaufman. I'm the president of the 12 Gates Foundation. It's an interreligious and interfaith organization that works on a global level. Our issues are war and peace. Our issues are harmony and cooperation among religious communities and religious people. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. This is Maulana Imam Muhammad Shahidullah. I am working with Interfaith Center of USA as the president last 2 years. And I'm also the director of Darul Uloom New York. We have 700 students, 80 teachers. We do the faith-based education. And also I'm the secretary of the Al-Mamur School. We have pre-K to 12th grade in Queens. And I'm honored also with Guruji, with Lesson and others. Thank you so much, everyone.
Hi, I'm Westchester County Legislator James Nolan. I represent District 15, Yonkers and Bronxville. It's an honor to be here with everybody today. I always look forward to working with Nader and everybody possibly I could help in not only just my district, but all of Westchester and New York State. So thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Quantel Bazemore. I'm here representing Congressman Jamal Bowman. We want to thank you for extending the invitation, and I'm glad to be among so many friendly friends. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to begin our program of dialogue, of awareness, and I'd like at this time to turn over the program to His Holiness Guru Jalipe. Please welcome, and we're honored to have you here in Yonkers, New York. Such an international figure to really give us his well wishes, his good wishes, and his words of wisdom today. Guru.
samasta sugino bhavantu loga samasta sugino bhavantu loga samasta sugino bhavantu om shanti 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 Hari Om Tatsat. Namaste everyone. It's my great pleasure and honor to be in this office again. Few months back we had a beautiful interfaith service with the Hindu celebration, Diwali celebration. Then we made a plan to have an interfaith celebration. That became true. So we made little lamp. The lamp is going everywhere to show the light. I'm so happy all of you came here. Even you waited for me, I had to say apology again because of the little traffic trouble, but still we are here. That meant to be. So this is a very positive way we'll take. So I want to thank to our Honorable Assemblyman Nadar, Dr. Nadar Sage Esquire, my long-time friend, and Chandra and all the staff members from here to organize within 2 days. That is amazing.
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty good. Because I do every day. Early morning 12:15 I start my day today. 3 o'clock another one, 6 o'clock another one, 9 o'clock another one, 1 o'clock at the UN and coming here. I never give up. Until 10 o'clock I have another one. This is like my bread and butter. Why I said that one? My mom is from a Hindu family. My father is from an Orthodox Christian family. We have bishops and monks in my family. So by birth, I'm an interfaith person. I became an interfaith minister and trustee of the All Faith Seminary International in New York, made by Rabbi Joseph Gelberman. He was a Holocaust survivor. And we have all the faith leaders in the group. We train interfaith ministers. I had to acknowledge somebody special who made this resolution to have World Interfaith Harmony Week. That is King Abdullah, His Excellency, made that one at the UN. That is from his country and his friend too. That's why I want to do from here. We have 1 month celebration going on every single day, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. online, other afternoon offline with other people. So somebody asked me, are you crazy to have a 1 month program? I said, no, this we need. See, around the globe, people are fighting for land, which is not belong to us. The universe belongs to everybody, beyond the religion or the culture. I said, I believe it. Even though I did a Hindu prayer, that is one of the old prayer, I like it. I'm ready to pray in Islamic tradition or Christian tradition. I don't have any problem. Even I went to Israel, spent time there, in kibbutz. Yeah. I think we all are chosen divine being on this earth to love each other, nothing else. One of my masters who brought me to the UN, his name is Swami Guraji Maharaj. He was 123 when he died. He spent 7 years in Shah of Iran's house, spent time there and teaching yoga. Yoga is beyond any religion. Yeah. And he is travel around, came to America, start his life there. I was little tired living in America because you make money, you spend money, nothing in the bank. So I went back to India. So he came to India and stayed in my house 2 weeks and said, no, he had to come back. So one day he gave me this shell, said, wash it and bring it. So usually we never touch his shell. It's special, right? So I washed it to him. No, you blow the shell. I know a little bit, but I never take as a serious step. So I said, blow 3 times. I blow the 3 times. He said, no, continue my work. So I just bring this shell wherever I go, blow the shell. This is an Indian shofar.
Sound like a chauffeur.
Right? So one day we had a climate march in Manhattan. So we had a rabbi brought the shofar. I had this one. So we had a competition. Healthy competition, you know. we have so many friends from different faith. The purpose of interfaith to make a dialogue. I have more than 5 million people, friends around the globe. I cannot remember their name, but I do remember their face. Wherever I go. Even after 20 years, I see them right away. Because we connect. Once I meet one person, he's permanent friend for me. That's why I take it. Because we all are made of 5 elements in the world. Earth, water, fire, space or wood. We all are made of these 5 elements. So if I hurt somebody means I am hurting myself. So that's why I consider. I may be little mean to my students for a teaching purpose, or I mean it, but still we are friends. Sometimes we have to say right thing on their face. Some wrong things are going, so we have to say it. That doesn't mean we are angry towards the person. So definitely we have to create a lot of interfaith, inter-religious, inter-spiritual gatherings to make the peace in the world. You see last 2 days people are in stress. Ukraine and Russia is having a problem. They have money to spend blasting all the weapons. We don't need any of this. But they don't have money to buy a meal for a person in their own country. What kind of leadership is that? That's the part I like about our assemblyman. He cares about the education, health, public. He has that love towards people. That's the thing I like about him. Because we need leaders like this. Most of you are like that. Otherwise you won't be here. That's why you are friends of him. So we had to create a community, those who really care about people, to take care of in every aspect of fulfillment of their life. A short life, first breath to the last breath. That's our life. Maybe 100 years, maybe less than that. But should we live in happiness or should we live in hatred? I think we should be in happiness. If we cannot live happily on this earth, are we going to upstairs look for a God? We should bring the godliness in every action in our life. I believe in that part. That's why I go everywhere without sleep, without food, whatever it is. Go and try to touch people and make and lit the lamp in their heart. I never look for a place to make a big monument or a spiritual center. I have a spiritual center, that is my heart. So wherever I will go, I make a temple or a church in their heart. So that will multiply. That's the thing we have to look for it. So I hope all of us can make more and more events like this. Even have a nice tea together or a snack together, even a pizza, split it and eat together. That will make the change in the world. I'm so happy. This is our 24th day of the celebration. Actually, our honorable assemblyman inaugurate. I want him to inaugurate that event because the connection between the king and him, same country.
By the way, that's a picture of where, over there.
There it is.
No, over there where Mbaka Roberto. A couple of months ago, we followed up, we had a one-to-one meeting with King Abdullah of Jordan. And that's a picture with him. And what really, even though he's the king of Jordan, I was very proud of the fact when Guru told me that he and his father before him, King Hussein of Jordan, the late king, were the protectors of interfaith, especially in the Middle East. It's, it's all over the world it's crucial, but in the Middle East, that is the birthplace of major religions in the world. Protecting interfaith respect and dialogue was crucial. And I brought up the issue, and we honored him and gave him special proclamations acknowledging his work on behalf of interfaith. We also presented, the Guru and many organizations, the World Yoga, with special resolutions that were passed by the New York State Assembly and the New York State Senate recognizing and honoring interfaith celebrations. So today really is a continued effort, and with the presence of the Guru and all of us that are here, it really signifies how important dialogue now more than ever. So I wanted to quickly go around the room, and I know our Sheikh, our Imam, had a very busy schedule, but I wanted him to say a few words on behalf of Interfaith. Sheikh Muhammad Shahdallah.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, in the name of Allah. First, I want to say thank you, our Assemblyman and Guruji and all faith leader. Actually, we started our Interfaith Center. I was working my back home in Bangladesh, South Asian Interfaith, with the school student and the college student. And then when I was immigrant, I came from Bangladesh here, and I was involved the faith-based school, and my small office inside in the school, and we're facing like a lot of parents. They have like the different type of problem in house with the kids or something, and the one or two counselors, they're gonna be shared every day, like the different type of solution they send, like the social worker here and there. And then the same time, the Hillcrest Jewish Center and like one Hindu Mandir close to our mosque, and like the other faith-based people, and I think everyone knows like the Imam Shamsi also, and other Imam. We start like the small dialogue, and we start how can we help like the different faith-based community people, how can we clean like our park, and how can protect like the street, how can help the subway, in the metro. We saw a lot of homeless people, how can we help them? And then we will start 2016 in the month of Ramadan, month of fasting. As a Muslim, we fast like the 1 month, and after 35 days, we'll start again this year. And then we start like distribute some food, and then we start some work. And I was met with the Guruji in Manhattan, and then met with him, and then he brought me like in the UN, in the different program. And now this is our 7th year. We have very good youth team. Before that, in Queens, all the faith leaders, they are thinking like interfaith were only for like the senior citizen. This is not for like the youth or kids. They are too much busy school. They are too much busy with device. The other stuff. And then we are a little bit success. We have more than 25 young active youth kids. Those are going to college and like the different, and they are involved. And we have very good, the harmony. And then we celebrate, the beginning of the month, the Interfaith Harmony Week. We, the clean, like when snow, the mess, like, the front of like the worship house and the front of the school. Friday, we try to help in our community very small, especially the COVID time, we did more than 100, the funeral service we do, like, I'm and few imam doing like, the Muslim, and then other faith-based leaders, they also do like their own way, how can solve the problem with the city, with the hospital and the health department. And this is like, our mission and goal, that we need to sit together. We believe we are under one God, and our Guruji, and he also mentioned, this is very short time. As a Muslim, we call like, when we call like for the prayer, this is called azan, and the prayer time after 15 minutes. And our scholar, they mention, like, our time is very short in this art. That's why we try to work for the humanity. We believe we are under one God. And again, thank you so much, Guruji. Thank you so much, Assemblyman. We'll work together. I came from Queens, and definitely we work, the city, when anything, anywhere we need, we are always with you. Thank you, all the faith leader, all the rabbi, and like, I know him very well, and the other faith leader. And we have another 2 imams, and the peace ambassador, and he also like with the masjid. They're going to be talk about, the other thing. Thank you so much.
Muhammad, my pleasure.
May Allah bless.
Allah bless each and every one of us. Let's hear words of wisdom. Dr. Frank Coleman.
Thank you, Assemblyman. Thank you for inviting us and for creating this. We're really grateful to you. We really are. Thank you. I've done interfaith all my life since the late 70s. I've been involved in most of the major world conflicts in Israel and Palestine, in Pakistan and India, and Sri Lanka and India. I was in the Philippines. I was held hostage by one of the separatist jihadi movements. It's not really jihadi, but anyway, you know the Southern Philippine group. So I've been in war, I've been in jail, and I do this work for a living. I've done it all my life. Interfaith can't afford to be static. It can't afford to do the same thing every time we meet, but we have that tendency to be like that because there's always new people. It's always exciting to, for the first time ever, be with a rabbi. And as it grows, the elders don't really progress oftentimes. We're again and again in interfaith encounters. They're thrilling while there, and then they don't get carried beyond oftentimes. So I just wanted to give a simple word of thought about religion and political life. Political life deals with geography. So people find themselves in a locale. And then we come under the protective care of a person who we select, or by various means we have a political leader over the boundaries of our neighborhoods or counties or villages and so on. Religious and the responsibility of political leaders is the social, cultural, and physical care of your ward, right? The people you care for. Religious leaders take care of the eternal lives, not the physical life, but eternal life. If we look at it as a vertical locale or vertical geography, we're sitting side by side, and we have our elected leader, our imam, our priest, our rabbi, who cares for our eternal life. Then religious leaders and political leaders need to care for one another. We can't pray if we don't eat. Our king helps us on our farms and protects us with his armies. And so the religious leader, political leader has to work closely together. On the other hand, if you have a country with a good, strong army and plenty of good soil, but it's full of thieves, liars, and murderers, there's no good for your country either. So the religious provides the moral and spiritual and eternal life, and this is the harmony that exists. If we think of religious life as a locale or as a geography, then we can begin to understand how interfaith will then be a progressive thing. Just like international relations, just like leaders of different countries have to be in dialogue and have to work together, similarly, the religious leaders need to understand, have good bilateral relations. We'll come at odds sometimes. What about this? What about that? But we have to work it out. We can't have border skirmishes. That's what interfaith needs to be. Finally, now we're no longer separated. It used to be, this is a Muslim village, you have an imam, it works pretty well. Now everything is blended. And this is the genius of political leaders creating interfaith bodies. It's a necessity of this time. And that's why I admire you, Assemblyman, and any of similar, who understand that I no longer have a Jewish village. Every village is multi-form. Who's the religious leader I go to? It can't be him and her and him and her and her. It has to be a collective, and that's what interfaith has to mature and grow and develop in this way. So I'll close my remarks, but I'm going to do something. If I may, I'd like to ask a prayer. May I pray? Because to have every one of every tradition all together, it's not common for me, but something terrible happened this morning. A superpower began bombing innocent civilians. I'd like to pray and invite the power of every religion here around the table. I'll only be brief. Our loving God, a terrible thing has happened on our planet to your children today. Things might have worked out, they could have been worked out, but aggression happened. And with the power of today's military might, the amount of destruction and harm to people's lives is immeasurable. We are here as a beautiful flower of every religion, Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Baha'i, and others I've not mentioned, Judaism. So we're here as one voice, as one people, as your children. Show us how we can help stop the aggression and allow your children to begin to start their lives again in peace. We're sorry that this has happened. We pray that we can be helpful to cause it to stop. Thank you for your love around us. Please hear our prayers. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Dr. Frank, thank you very much. John Thompson, affiliated with the YMCA, but Salvation Army. You know, it's been around over 100 years, and the work is enormous in the community. John, your perspective?
Well, there are two mottos that both the Y and the Salvation Army live by. One is from a biblical phrase, faith without works is dead. It's one thing to walk a particular kind of walk and not to do anything with your hands to make a difference. That's a bit of a challenge. So that's of great concern to both organizations. The other would be to be so heavenly minded that we're no earthly good. If our faith means anything, whatever our faith is, if it means anything, there has to be a practical application to making change in the world that we live in. That's what it's all about. It's that every man is my brother, every woman is my sister, and if we're going to make change, and we're going to have lasting change, we do it together. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you, John. Rabbi Mindy Horowitz, not only a dear friend, but anywhere in Yonkers you go, you know, people not only know the rabbi, but know his good work, know his mission in Yonkers, and very involved with the Chabad of Yonkers on North Broadway. Rabbi, what's your perspective?
I was going to give the introduction to thank you for this. But yes, Nader is an amazing, a great friend, and thank you so much for bringing this together. So important, and really, you know, we should all be, you know, come together, be together, and together we can do so much more than one on their own can do. So I just want to bring out something. You know, hearing everyone's great ideas and input reminded me that the Baal Shem Tov, he lived about 300 years ago. He was the beginning of the Hasidic movement in Poland, and every time he had to travel, he didn't have an Uber or anything, but he would have a horse and buggy. He would you know, stop someone. Hey, he stopped someone for hire, and he would go on and he would see if the driver would pass a place of worship and would not recognize it. Doesn't matter if it was Jewish, not Jewish, whatever it is. If the driver that was riding the, you know, leading the horse and buggy, if he passed through a place of worship and the person did not recognize it, he would tell the guy, "I'm sorry, the ride ends here." You know, he would pay him and go on. What did he say? He explained that a person of faith, he could only ride with a person of faith. Doesn't matter which religion you believe, that's irrelevant to him. A person with faith is very special by recognizing that there's someone above and greater. And that was his contribution to, in the Hasidic movement, teaching us how, regardless of what your religion is, knowing that there's a higher, that there's something above, gives us that ability of respecting and caring for one another. Now I'll conclude with in the 90s, if you remember Mayor Dinkins, right, in Crown Heights. I grew up in Crown Heights, and so he came one time. He came to visit Rabbi Schneerson. Rabbi Schneerson every Sunday would give out dollars. He says, when two people meet, let's help a third person. So he gave $1, says, you know, let's find someone that can use it. And he would obviously give a blessing and all that. There was lines for hours. People would come to him from all walks of life. And Mayor this is on YouTube. You can go and find it afterwards. You'll see it. Mayor Dinkins, I think he was running for a re-election. I'm not sure. I don't remember the exact details. But he asked the Rebbe for a blessing. He tells the Rebbe, could you give me a blessing to bring the two sides together? So the Rebbe very respectfully says, wait. If it's two sides, it's already a problem. We're one people, by one God, and together we can make this world a better place. So, you know, there's so much power around here, And we have to see that, the differences is, as Nader said before, the 10% is the differences, but you have 90 together. Maybe we even have more than that. But so together with what we do have in common, that we're all, we're a human being, and make this world a better place, regardless of your religion. Just let's work together, and that would really, really give us the power to be able to do so much more than one can do alone. Thank you.
But Rabbi, thank you. But to the rabbi's point, and the message being disseminated, is that through our respective positions and the role we play, very crucial roles in our society, in our communities, we play a major role. Whether when we preach, when we advise, when we encourage, when we teach our children, when we have our events, if that message of togetherness that we can portray and we can become role models, that's where it starts. So sometimes people say, well, you have 10, 20, 15 leaders together, they're having discussions. Does it stop here? It doesn't stop here. Because as we listen to each other, as we understand each other, as we understand the mission and the importance of it, the goal would be to go back to our respective communities and parishes and congregations and to preach what we're saying here today. That's how we spread the message of goodness and the message and the importance of interfaith. Dave Alpert, former chairman, what's your words of advice?
My father used to say to us, we pass through this world but once. What good may we do, because we only pass through this world but once. Interfaith means many things to people, but it means that we care, we help, we're together. We're all the same. We have one heart, two eyes. There's no difference what your religion is, what your faith is. And it has to do with dignity and respect. I think one of the problems in this world today is people don't treat people with dignity and respect. And if you treat everyone with dignity and respect, it makes a better environment. And Nader's a perfect example of someone I can go back with Nader a very long time. He's always helped people. He treats people with dignity and respect. And I hate to say there's some people, I don't care if you're a doctor, lawyer, whatever, do not act that way. And that's the sad part of life. Senator Robert F. Kennedy used to say, some people see things as they are and say why. I dream things that never were and say why not. If we treat people with interfaith, dignity and respect, it would be a better environment for all of us, for our kids, our grandchildren. And that's the most important thing I see is, I'm repeating myself saying dignity and respect, but that's the way we should raise our kids, the way we live.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dave. By the way, just take a quick break. I'd like to acknowledge the hard work and the preparation of my staff, Roberta, Chief of Staff, and Damien, Neela, and Chandra Sukhdeo, who's been my liaison with the interfaith community. Diane Pratt.
Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for being here. It's wonderful to be with everyone. And in the Baha'i faith, the greeting that we have for each other is Allahu Akbar, and that means glory to God. So now that we have the translation, we can all greet each other and say glory to God. And just as everyone mentioned, in the Baha'i faith, the belief is that we are all equal under the eyes of God, and that all religions are one because they come from God. And so with that in mind, there is no difference. The difference is in our appearance, our skin, our hair color, our eye color, whatever that may be, but we all have a spirit, we all have a soul, and we all came to this earth pretty much the same way. And so that unifies us right off the bat. And the other thing that was mentioned about the gardens is also in the writings, it talks about that we are the flowers of one garden. And what does a garden have? 1,000 different types of flowers. And they all get along.
They all get along.
They all grow next to each other and they all get along.
Different
So-
colors, different shapes, different
Exactly,
styles,
and they all get
right?
along. So if we look at nature, we can learn definitely a lesson. And so taking that into the world and being happy to be here and continue. And I remember when I met you at Chandra's center many years ago when we also had an interfaith meeting. So happy to be back. Thank you so much.
Diana, thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. Hossein Rababa.
Thank you, Dr. Nader. Peace and blessing be upon all of you. My name is Hussein again, and I want to go back to the history. Dr. Nader and Raju just talk about King Abdullah and King Hussein. I'm someone who was born in Jordan, and King Hussein for me was a father, not a king. He was a father because for what he stands and what he believes. In Jordan, the harmony and the peaceful life, Dr. Nader knows, you could have a church here and across the street is a mosque. They ring the church bell on Sunday and you hear the adhan or the calling for the prayer for Muslim religion. And that time of my life when I grew up, the harmony and the peaceful, and people was not judged by your religion, nor the color of your skin, or if you have hair or you don't have hair, but it's what you stand for. For me, your relationship with God is between you and God. But the respect between you and I, that's what it comes to me. In the Holy Quran, Allah said, يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من نفس واحدة وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا. I mean, God said, I created you from one person, and you became different tribes, different country. But the best among you who is close to me and believe in faith. And to the Rabbi point, it's always, you always feel very comfortable when you talk to somebody who believe in faith, who believe in God. You know in your heart he's not going to harm you. He's not going to steal from you, because those things are prohibited in every religion. And I always being involved in politics actually, I always admire politicians, because politicians, you see him, they go to the synagogue and they celebrate Hanukkah. They come to the mosque and they celebrate Eid al-Adha and Ramadan. They go to the Hindu, they go to the Christian. It doesn't matter what religion they believe or they in, but they practice other faith. And I pray to God and to all of us, you know, that God will bless all of us and our family, and moving forward we will have that spirit of being involved with everyone and every other race.
Spirit of togetherness,
Yes.
right?
Yes, thank you, Dr.
Thank you, Hussein. Hamad Jan.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here today, and thank you to Dr. Nader Sage to invite. I will say that I'm just grateful as an immigrant that we are here in this country, and where we see that there is no restrictions for any religion to practice their faith. And I have seen I work with the New York City Police Department as a clergy liaison also, where we have seen so many interfaith workshops where all the religion leaders, all the faith leaders, they come together. And we have seen one big example last couple of weeks back. There was a big fire in the Bronx, and about maybe 15, 16 Muslim people, they were burned, they died there. And we see that all the faith leaders, all the faith members, all religion, they come together and they prayed and they helped by their all the congregators they had and all their members they had. So I think this is a great place where we all can sit like this and we can talk and we can help each other and we can discuss about the other countries in the world and also over here. And again, I will say thank you to our Assemblyman, Dr. Sage, to organize this faith program where we can meet with each other, trying to know each other and move forward with all the best things for this country also.
Thank you, Muhammad. I couldn't have done and organized without the Guru, who's really the mentor and really the implementer. Because as much as we do, sometimes we need not only that spiritual guidance, but really the motivation and the wisdom to move ahead. So Guru, thank to you. Now, Reverend Susanna McComb.
First of all, I want to say thank you, because this group together gives me hope. Every time we're in an interfaith, intercultural assembly, there is hope, and especially today where I think, has humanity still not learned how terrible war is? You know, my favorite Christian teaching is God is love, and it is loving one another that we know God. This is from Jesus. And it doesn't say you have to love another Christian. Jesus said, love your enemy. Love your enemy. It is easy to actually love somebody, love your enemy. And why is religion so important? Well, you could feel his heart. You could feel each heart here. When you are rooted in God, you're rooted in your heart. The kingdom of God is within. And then, when I'm looking at Guru, yes, I see he's Hindu, but I see deeper. I am looking at a child of God who's my brother. Do I see a Muslim? Now, woman once said to me, "You're different, Reverend. You see people as spirit." And I said to her, "People are spirit." And she said, "See?"
Yeah. True.
And you know, the interfaith message, I've studied comparative religion, is in every religion. If you look deeper, you know, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was married to a Coptic Christian.
Yes.
To a Jewish woman,
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Moses was actually technically, before his wife, was in an interfaith marriage. You know, the Good Samaritan story, to me, is an interfaith story. Who is my neighbor? He who shows love and mercy. So why this is so important is because when we're rooted in love in our heart, we can't destroy our neighbor, because we see him as God. We see God in this face, in this face, in this face. And when you see God in this face, how can you hurt that person? And I do interfaith counseling for families, and peace begins with the family, and then the community, and then the nation, and then the world. But I must say thank you, Dr. Kaufman, for that prayer, because that's what I wanted to do too, because God help the people that are being harmed today. And it's not just in that part of the world, but that's the highlight. I think, when will humanity stop? When will the insanity stop? We can look at it, but it begins here, right? It begins by lighting one candle at a time. And I'm just going to end with a simple, I was going to do a Catholic prayer, but I'd rather do this from the Quaker Book of Wisdom. It's very simple. If we hope to overcome the ocean of darkness in the world, we must first light a candle in our own hearts. Committing oneself to the path of love can be the most revolutionary way to change. Make the most of your time every day of your life, as that gentleman said. As living human beings, we are impermanent, but we are surely not insignificant. Everything we do matters.
Amen. Well done. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Well done. On behalf of Congressman Jamal Bowman, a statement or a message?
One, thank you, Assemblyman Sage, for this invitation. I just want to say I've been around a lot of politicians in my life, But I have to say that when I come into the presence of Assemblyman Sage, he sees me as a person and not just a staff person. So I always appreciate you for that. I just want to just say that. This is a very important space right now. I too am a Christian, but I too am one who has grown up in a community that we appreciate the interfaith dialogue. When I think of interfaith, there's one thing that comes to mind, and that is justice. And that is the piece that I really get excited about, because I say if the people of faith do what is necessary, the world will be a better place. So anytime that I'm among my brothers and sisters in faith, I know that if we all get together, you know, we don't talk about the things that we may disagree on, but we talk about the things that we can agree on, that housing, that health care, that child care, that the things that matter to allow folks to really prosper in the way that they need to, it will happen. Because regardless of where we land and what our faith may be, all our folks deal with the same issues. And so I'm so glad to be among this space with you, and I hope that I can continue to have the invitation, and I can continue to commune with you. So thank you for the invitation. The congressman really wishes he could be here today. Unfortunately, he could not be because of his schedule, but I tell you, he would have been excited to be here today. And listen, this is right in the right spirit, because we just had our own interfaith meeting earlier today. So this is the right time. And given the world events, I'm so glad to just be among you, because we know what needs to happen.
Thank you very much. Please give the congressman our regards. I know his busy schedule.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, it gives me great pleasure. I know, making presentations, people say is something politicians do, but this really comes out of the heart, and it's something that not only in my capacity as an assemblyman, but really in my capacity, which is greater than whatever role we have. We're all citizens of the world. We're all goodwill ambassadors, and this today is an inauguration, not only celebrating world harmony and peace, but this is really a day when each and every one of us, in a very special way, can become goodwill ambassadors. Really ambassadors of goodwill, of understanding, and as we say often, lightness over darkness, right? And good over evil. So today, I'd like to make this presentation to the New York State Assembly, recognizing World Yoga Community on their successful completion of the 37th Annual World Interfaith Harmony Festival. And of course, it is a practice of the New York State Assembly to recognize individuals and organizations that display that goodness. And today, World Interfaith Festival was founded by Guru His Holiness Dilip Kumar Thankapan, a world-renowned yoga and interfaith minister from India. And whereas Guraji had started interfaith festivals and interreligious gatherings in 1985, that's how long ago, in his native India, and in 1999 arrived to the great state of New York, and has worked since then conducting weekly interfaith satsangs, monthly interfaith meetings, and annual World Interfaith Festivals in the USA and throughout the world. And today the vision of the World Interfaith Festival is to promulgate building bridges across boundaries, across the globe, to create, promote, teach, and establish a movement for quote-unquote global culture of peace and harmony, unquote. So today, in my capacity, I'd like to make this very special proclamation, and really a symbol of respect and integrity for a person who's not only most deserving, but all of us need to continue to put forth our full energy behind his energy, so that we can continue to motivate him to continue his hard work, his dedication, his commitment to world peace and harmony. Guru, please accept on all our behalf.
I want to say thank you to our assemblymen and the staff and all of the citizens of America. So they are my brothers and sisters. As a member of Interfaith family, I brought this shawl. This is a shawl belonging to Rabbi Joseph Gelberman, who was a Holocaust survivor. I took his hand as my friend, put in my heart as my relative. Because you know how they sacrifice their life. When they came to India, India is only one country accommodate Jewish people before America. I have that heart towards Jewish people. I have a Jewish family too. Yeah. Not only that, whoever suffer, we have to stand for them. People may make mistake, or we have to forgive. You don't have to forget everything, but forgiveness is very important for them and for us too. So this is a beautiful citation. I'm so happy you acknowledge my work. That means that you are acknowledging all the interfaith ministries' work. This belongs to our rabbi, belongs to my parents. I continue my work more stronger. Thank you.
Any remarks, any comments? We welcome all our guests. And this basically, I don't want to use the word conclusion. This is really an initiation that each and every one of us is owed a responsibility and to be held accountable, right? This is a school principal in me coming out. Accountable to make sure part of our homework.
Trust me, I experienced that. He was the principal of Andalusia school, so.
So to really promote coexistence, promote dialogue. You know, the goodness, is easily said, but when it's practiced, it means a lot. So when you help someone, when you respect someone, when you communicate to someone, when you nod your head in approval, anything that brings that sense of joy, that sense of gratitude is a win-win. It's a goodness. So the movement of goodness, let's hope that today, Guru, this is an initiation, another step beyond all the hard work that brings it to an upper level. So to each and every one of you, we're all very gratified. This is really a work of many, but it's a work under the mentorship of Guru, and we hope that we can disseminate that information and bring it to a different level. And that's what this is all about, bringing this to a different level. Thank you very much.
I'm going to send the copy of this to President of India. They can promote interfaith there.
Well, let's do that. Roberto, done deal?
Got it.
To the President of India. And we'll even let King Abdullah know.
Yeah, that's great.
And we'll present him with that. And again, Chandra, thank you. And thank you, Mr. John, also the samosa.
Yes.
Samosas were delicious from the Roosevelt Ballroom, by the way. A terrific business. So we all need to work and help each other and promote each other in whatever ways possible. So thank you very much. Please make sure and to mingle, have some snacks. Make sure you sample everything. Thank you very much.
End up with the song. That's let there be peace on earth. So few words we change. We want to be more acceptable. No wretch word, wretch. Anything, we are family, our parent, my neighbor. This is the way I say things. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our parent, we are family. Let me walk with my neighbor in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment, live this moment in peace eternal.